Hello, this is David with Inner West IT and the SMB IT Newscast for January 20th, 2016. This week we're talking about the Olden Rule, which is good, fast, or cheap. Pick any two. And there's been some confusion the last couple of weeks as we've begun issuing the newscast. We're confusing some of this stuff. And I want to help outline how this works. So, for what it's worth, our audience, the intended audience here, is small and medium businesses that are on a mission to build real ROI in any of their investments that they make online. We're in the process of building a portfolio of services and collecting ideas on how we can effectively manage those, especially in what manners we prepare for successors, not only in staff, but in follow-on services. Some of those things are turnkey, and some of them are roll your own. For instance, the Anchor website, the blog, Facebook page, etc. As a rule of thumb, we're 75% driven by cheap in the dialogue that I'm developing here. And 25% is driven by fast or good, and it depends. Fast is often a tactical response that will receive a strategic solution sometime soon. Good is the strategic solution that we would develop, and we prefer to always do that first and avoid any expense just addressing some sort of loud, clamoring issue that we might be facing. Anyway, it should be flexible, extensible, and bears some glamour and something we can use. In that sense, nothing has a shelf life that we build of for more than 2 years. We don't anticipate using a web template or anything more than that timeline. We simply can't forecast that far into the future. In fact, 2 years is a long time. So this defines the ROI computation. If we're making capital investment in obtaining new services, for instance, paying a web developer or someone to put together some of these assets, we'll use that 2-year, depreciation schedule. EBITDA, that's expenses before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. We always want to have that collected and written off in the tax year. We don't like to see things carry over. A recent example for us here, very recent within the last quarter, is we consulted a community theater. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They had a legacy website with no blog, no integration to Facebook. Their current solution that they're operating now, we kind of forklifted them over onto it, cost them less than $50 a year. They were spending way over $100 for hosting services. They're continuing to expand into social media, which means probably Instagram because of photographs and stuff like that. YouTube, definitely some short announcements and maybe clips of their theater operations and shows. Twitter could be newsy, especially around showtimes. Box office phone number. We implemented something that costs nothing for them, and that's discussed in the next slide as a how-to. Ticket sales, we're doing online at eventbrite.com, email marketing and list service, mailchimp.com, charitable giving, apollos.com. They charge a small per gift fee. And so no out of pocket, essentially no out of pocket for any of this stuff. And they're going to the head of the class in terms of how they appear to their followers online. So how to implement a business phone number for free? Well, let's start with how it was. This theater had a cheap mobile account, which runs, $350 a year for something that they could use and hand off to one another. Typically, it wasn't answered and it wasn't advertised, except during showtimes. So how it changed? We explained Google-hosted services to them. It was as simple as that. And so what it's like now is they're using a Google Voice phone number. That requires establishing a Google account, and we used an email alias on their domain in order to get that done. So that's something that's transferable. This takes into account that survivability and successor planning that we talk about. So it's an address like admin at their domain that is a Google account for them, and they can hand that off. And not only that, but as people change, you can change the forwards in their the email forwards. But anyway, it takes inbound calls, it transcribes the messages, and distributes them via text message to a list of board members' cell phones. And that list, that distribution list of phone numbers, can be changed at any time. Note, this is 100% voicemail until a show starts. And then monitoring is accomplished, which means that phone number is answered by a human via a Google account at a computer that can be located anywhere. Similar to how I'm creating this this video blog today. You basically just plug in your headset and wait for telephone calls while you're doing other things. So anyway, that's a free way to avoid $350 a year in cell phone charges for this nonprofit organization. So here we are, we're getting more with less, better, faster, cheaper, all of the time from anywhere. And if you're not getting that, you should hire a new consultant. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. And that topic will be announced on the blog in the day or two. God bless.